Welcome to Armand Academy. Like and subscribe for more content and drop your doubts in the comments. Share with your friends and classmates. For private tuition in these subjects across all boards and universities, contact me here or the link in the description. Let's get started. DOL Limited provides the following data for the year 2023-24, and we have been given sales, variable cost, fixed finance cost, also called interest, effective tax rate, and EPS. We've been asked to compute the degree of operating leverage, degree of financial leverage, degree of combined leverage for the company, and interpret the results. If the company can increase its sales by 20%, by what amount will EPS change? And we have to give an answer based on what we get in part one. Now, whenever we solve these kind of questions, the first thing we should do, even if it isn't asked, is to make the income statement under under the marginal costing format, CVP analysis format. So we have Rainbow Limited, Rainbow, Rainbow Limited income income statement. Notice we don't have any units to deal with, so we can simply have particulars followed by amount in terms of rupees. Okay, write it neatly, make it large enough that you can easily write amount in terms of rupees. Then we have sales minus variable cost gives contribution minus fixed cost. Okay, and keep in mind, we're doing this for leverages. So we are not going to write profit. We are going to write earnings. Okay, earnings before interest and tax. Earnings before interest, interest and tax, which we also call EBIE. Okay, so we subtract earnings before interest and tax, and then we subtract interest, which in this question they're calling it fixed finance cost. Okay, so interest in brackets, fixed finance cost, or fixed finance cost in brackets interest. What do you want? Okay, finance cost. And by subtracting that, we get earnings before tax, before tax, or what we call EBT. Right? Our next step thereafter is to subtract tax. We subtract tax at whatever rate of tax is mentioned, and we get earnings after tax, earnings after tax, what we call EAT, which we then divide by the number of shares in order to get the earnings per share, or short for EPS. Earnings, the short form is EPS. Earnings per share, the short form is EPS. Okay, so now that we have this in place, we can go back here and start filling up. Okay, and we can write, okay, in lakhs. So we don't have to put too many zeros. So 80, 56, 80, 56. Okay, subtraction for will give us 24. Then our fixed cost, okay, our fixed cost, which is uh, 8 lakhs. Operating cost, fixed operating cost 8 lakhs. I will go ahead and put 8 lakhs here. And then we have 24 minus 8, which will give us 16. Then we have interest. Okay, then we have interest, which is fixed finance cost, which is 4, subtracting which we will get 12. Okay, and then we have tax rate as 25%. Okay, now 25%. 25% is 1 by 4 into 12 will give us 3, and we'll have 9 Okay, we'll have 9 to take forward. We will have 9 to take down. And then we know that the EPS is rupees 9. Remember, we have 1 lakh shares. Okay, I mean, this amount is actually 9 lakhs, and then somehow it is becoming 9 rupees per share. So the number of shares is 9. Okay, and what I'm not going to write away 9 rupees per share, so it is understood. Okay, so this is more than what we need. And in order to save time, you can actually maybe directly do apply the formula and solve. Now, degree of operating leverage, degree of operating leverage, okay, and they've used full form, so we'll also do degree of operating leverage, or what we call DOL, is equal to the first time around it is contribution. Okay, for operating leverage it is contribution upon earnings before interest and tax. Degree of financial leverage, degree of financial leverage, okay, or what we call DFL, is EBIT, earnings before interest and tax, upon EBT. Degree of combined leverage, degree of combined leverage is equal to degree of operating leverage into degree of financial leverage. Okay, and going back to the question, okay, they have asked us for these three, for which we're going to get ourselves 9 marks. So great. What is contribution upon EBIT? 24 by 16. Okay, so this is equal to 24 by 16, which is equal to, okay, and we are allowed a calculator. So 24 by 16 gives me 1.5. Now, degree of financial leverage, I have EBIT upon EBT. So 16 upon 12. Okay, and 16 upon 12 might give us a non-terminating decimal. So we'll have to see 16 by 12 gives us 1.333. Okay, 1.333. And that somewhat complicates our degree of combined leverage, which is 1.5 into 1.33. But remember, it's a non-terminating decimal. Uh, so I'm going to leave 1.33 on the calculator here and multiply it by 1.5, and I get a flat. I get a flat. Now, if you want even better answer, you can literally do 24 by 16 into 16 by 12. Okay, because degree of operating leverage by into degree of financial leverage is that, right? Is equal to C upon EBIT into EBIT upon EBT, which you could argue by cutting the EBITs. Okay, it is nothing but C upon EBT. All right, and that we can actually reproduce over here, 24 by 12. So either way, however you want to do, our answers too. Okay, so degree of operating leverage. Degree of operating leverage is 1.5. Degree of financial leverage is 1.33. And degree of combined leverage is 2. Doing this much is going to earn us 9 marks. Now, the next part is actually fairly easy, where they have asked us to estimate, okay, the EPS based on a change in sales by 20%. All right, so, and they want amount. So we have to think a little bit, but it's not that difficult. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is write down the formula for. Okay, so whatever we have done till now was part one for 9 marks. Now we're doing part two for the remaining 6. The degree of combined leverage has a separate formula, which is percentage change in EPS upon percentage change in sales. Now, I know that the degree of combined leverage was 2. In the question, they have told us that the percentage change in sales is 20%. So I have the denominator, which I know is 20%. I need to calculate the numerator, which is percentage change in EPS. And that will give me percentage change in EPS should be 40%. Right. So we are in a situation where we need to isolate, okay, where we need to isolate the new EPS, and we have an old EPS. What was the old EPS? It was 9 per share. And if there was an increase in sales by 20%, there'll be an increase in this by 40%. So we are going to take this 9. Okay, so current EPS is given to us as 9. The increase is 40%. So new EPS is going to be 9 in bracket 1 plus 40%, which is 9 into 1.4, 9 into 1.4, which I will do on the calculator. Okay, 9 into 0.4, which gives me 12 point, which will give me 12.6. What is the question? The question is, by what amount will EPS change? By what amount? I've just got the new EPS. If the new EPS is 12.6, old EPS, okay, whatever, current EPS, whatever you want to call it, is 9. Therefore, and looking at the question, by what amount will EPS change? EPS will increase by rupees 3.6. Right. With that, we're done. Any doubts, feel free to ask.